pull 360 degrees around the circle, it will touch again.
So anything that fibers into a bunch of strands. The strands will move around each other like circles, right? But that tendency to wrap around each other would form this shape. No matter what, any two circles of same size rolling around each other, trace out that shape if you pick one.
Utilizing one single point. Yep. Okay.
Okay, but what do we want to think of this curve as? That path that follows. What kind of path is it? Well, it's the inverse curve of the parabola.
Oh.
It's literally the inverse curve of the parabola with the focus at the center of inversion. Okay, so now we have inverses of hyperbolas and inverses of parabolas, and this is the shape that makes hyperbolas and parabolas. So what's the inside going to look like that's holding this shape together? The spike doesn't keep going forever this way. The more you zoom in, it limits it. -2 and +2, the whole picture. That's one thing to note. So 2 and -2, that's just double 1 and -1. We really care about our unit circles. Kind of interesting. This is a bifurcation structure we're thinking. Okay?
Yeah.
So 2 would be an important number. But there's this spike way out here.
Yeah.
Let's click on the picture real quick.
Okay.
Other than the main feature being that we have a cardioid, which we form by rolling one ball around another, we also have that sized ball sitting outside of it next to it. So one ball rolls around another, and then we have the size of the ball that does the rolling right there.
Yeah.
And then this thing does itself repeating shape, but it ends up making this next big, this like, let's call it a vertex. Circle I'll put in between these bounds. And the inversion of the circle, meaning you're using circle inversion to cross from inside and outside the circle like it's a mirror, that blue part maps to this blue part. This red part maps to that. This green part maps to that green part, right? So that's what we mean by inversion. And if you let the circle go all the way to touch, then these will touch too. I'm going to assert this, that in between these boundaries we have a limit state and maintain the inversion curve, and we have 2 of these cardioids. Why? Well, when we put one cardioid in here, and we put in a second cardioid there.
Yeah.
Boobies.
And
it might be the core of something.
The cardioid is
the Mandelbrot
set. Let's scale it to match perfectly right there now.
Okay.
To fit inside of our hyperbolic construction.
Yeah.
What does it look like?
Oh.
That vertex becomes the focus of this
the
side.
One.
So you fill in this one, and both of those focuses now have internal constructed balance. You see what I mean? Symmetry happening here.
Pretty neat.
This is leading in just the start of the conversation, but the point is we're noticing we can think of the internal construction of hyperbolic geometry itself as being maintained under these 2 kinds of balances, right? Yeah. And therefore, since we thought it was the trivial factor to begin with on the charge boundary, we're going to be looking at this constructive, literally the prime constructive anyway. We're already thinking that this is the prime geometry. So all the prime numbers are contained in the sequence.
Wow. As that's boomer number 1. That was something a little bit different. Oh, and by the way, a lot of folks have been talking about otherworldly beings. Well, as far as that goes, hi, Fizz.
Hi.
You all know what that means.
I know I should be wary. Still I venture someplace scary. Ghostly haunting, I turn loose.
welcome everyone now, and boomer number 2. Those who may be watching temporarily in the future. I'm the current host of this broadcast. For how much longer, I cannot say. But I'm joined, of course, by my lovely, spontaneous, otherworldly co-host, Fizz.
Hello.
What's going on? It's good to see you, Fizz. It's been a while. I saw you a little bit in the Twitch dimension. I know there's a lot of stuff and things going on as well. I know Piper's going through all the different Piper stuff. I checked in on her a wee bit last night on Anthony's stream. Wait, is it Anthony or Andrew?
Anthony.
Anthony, yes, that one. Yeah, I pop in there, and then all of a sudden, Anthony or someone is saying something, and then I hear Piper going, "Oh, donkey train." I'm like, why does this not surprise me at all? So,
I think Piper is definitely funnier out of context than I am.
Yeah. Hey, Chinsu. Thank you for joining, my friend. We were just taking a cruise down perhaps one of the greatest conjectures ever. And this is why I say real life is better than fiction. You can't make this S up. It's within. See, I'm trying to be a good memes. I try not to curse within the first couple of minutes. Yeah, you can't make this shit up. Pardon my French. My apologies to the French. But you got a puppy? Oh my God! Congratulations. What's happening? Oh,
Puppy.
welcome, slightly time dilated Rick, perhaps from the past. It's good to have you joining us. It's all right. I usually put it on ×2 when I'm catching up with Professor Wolfram or something, but it's okay. It's okay. So a lot of folks have been talking about all these different things. Well, it's like, are there beings among us right now? And see, oh, you hear it here, folks. Oh.
You ever notice that, like, I don't know, whenever something important is happening with like American government officials, they'll declassify a little bit more of their UFO information. Just a little more. Here's some more crumbs, but
Wait. Fizz, are you conjecturing that when stuff and things for our elected honorable officials don't quite smell right or it doesn't seem to be the best public image, all of a sudden they're like, ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. And I like candy.
what's great is it's not working because you know, you guys were already like, yeah, we know, we've been knowing, you know, you guys kept calling us liars and we didn't really care. We know, it's great, good, whatever. Aliens, yep.
Well, Rick brings up a fair point. Isn't a lot of candy in kind of like a slightly spherical disc-like shape that has been conjectured or put in the public persona that different folks are talking? See, I personally, full disclosure, I usually don't talk about this stuff unless people are talking about like actual technology that we could actually make and stuff like that. I'm like, that's fascinating. I'll conjecture on that. But a lot of the things that actually happen, it's like personally, I haven't had any of those experiences myself. I've spoken with some fairly seemingly sober, serious folks that are just like, oh, I had something like this happen, and they weren't screaming about it. They weren't acting all nutty bananas. Like, oh, I happened to see something that was very odd when I was a younger person. It's like I felt kind of weird, and then it never happened again or something. It's like, okay, that's, hey man, I wasn't there. I don't know what actually happened. I'm just like, well, if I kind of take Neil deGrasse Tyson's perspective, it's like, well, if there's stuff going on in like at least over here as an American, if stuff's going on in American airspace and it could potentially be a threat, we may want to look into that to protect, I don't know, the American people. Isn't that what they always say? But just as far as that goes, I totally forget where I was going with that. I was going to pass off onto you with something that very much interested you, maybe otherworldly beings, something like that. What's going on with you, Fizz? Give us some deets.
Um. Well, actually, I've been pretty busy.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. I just found out why I look weird.
Oh,
Stuff looks weird. Virtual
okay.
background is trying to There we go. Green is back.
Oh, you have the wrong contrast for you're totally not video image park projection. Just like there's totally an Ouroboros behind me. That this actual thing that was done by some of my old internet friends, it was actually a Pokeball. So they had it in like a Pokeball, and then somebody else just I think it was Sharati, my internet mom. She she put like the fire and the contrast, or maybe it was voice. Oh my god, I'm not even sure if he's still with us. I had somebody hit me on the Discord like so and so is still alive. It's like I never knew there was something wrong. This is the problem when you're on 100 different like Discords. It gets to the point it's like there's no way I can keep up on all this. Even the things that are red, I can't keep up on all that. It's too much. And sometimes you'll post in some of them, people are like, oh, whoa, oh, you know, I'm like, okay, I haven't been around for a while, but I'm pretty sure I've been on this server for a year or two and at least more active than you have been before. It's fair. It's fair. I've been interacted recently. I got a warning on the Dark Horse thing for spam. I
Oh,
post like once a day. I was just
oh.
posting my content to like places that, and I paid to be on that thing. I could give Heather Haying like $5 a month or something like that, just because it's like, oh, that was an interesting thing. The pandemic was hitting. It's like I can support some people, and then they kind of went off in a different position. I'm not saying audience capture may affect certain content creators. Occasionally, it might, but
Yeah, I can't I'm not good at keeping up with Discord. I was told I needed one, so I have one. And then every VTuber I meet has one and wants me to be in those. And so I just have like a million muted Discord servers I'm in.
Mhm. No. I feel like that's like a lot of chat groups I'm in on the Twitter or X or Xer, whatever the social media platform formerly known as Twitter. That's basically still Twitter.
Mm.
I've invited some people, some groups. It's like I don't think I've seen any of them. Some of them interact, but then again, I don't see any of them leave. So it's like I'm kind of the same way. I usually don't leave things because I'm like you never know what might happen. Could be something interesting. It may, and or if you need some receipts for something, that's a great way to have receipts. Discord is better; it keeps full logs of everything. But
Mm.
oh god, but no, I totally feel you. But there is a lot of interesting stuff. Hold on, I need to get to this comment. Heavens to Murderoy! Oh my god, I didn't put it together until I saw some Metallicus commenting under that. I'm like, oh my god, I haven't heard that said in so long. We need to bring back like the classic high Hanna Barbera age of like
Yeah.
some of that stuff, like villains like that, and this because it's more slapstick and everything. And if somebody's gonna complain about it, it's like, okay, well, we just ripped off all this old other stuff. So if that's fascist and woke, or woke fascist, when you're saying this bear that's been standing up against freaking like Ranger Jones or whoever it is there, it's like standing up against the man.
The
He stole,
man.
yeah, he's stole stealing those picnic baskets. He also had a young cub that I don't believe was his son around with him. Oh dear God, we're okay. Different subject. There. Hi, Wise. Good to see you. See, I got your name right this time. I can learn. I'm like, oh my god, am I like Chat GPT? I haven't called the NPC before.
No, but you're like for real's intelligence, not artificial.
It's, I mean, is there a difference?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a difference to perhaps higher dimensional beings that aren't us?
A different?
Oh, complete conjecture. I haven't clipped this part out yet. This was actually something It was like at the very end of the very last physics monastery thing, because at least with that whole fractal thing there, which again in itself, I mean, if that happened to be true, that would be one of the greatest things ever. I
That
also
thing
noticed
that we
that
were just looking at?
the first thing, yeah, with like kind of like
Yeah, Rorschach's
the
porn stash.
yeah, Rorschach's.
Yeah. That butt though, that booty though. Uh-oh, we killed him.
I missed you. You broke me. You broke me. Okay. Yes. Thank you. We've missed you, Fez. But but okay.
But that's how I'm
Basically,
gonna memorize that stuff. Is
no.
the booties.
The thing is, it's very memeable. But that's that thingy there. Basically, it's called the Mandelbrot set, which is basically a very basic fractal. So it's basically got this very basic setup.
Wait, it's called what? It's called
It,
what?
it's a fractal.
No, is that what you said
The
before?
the Mandelbrot.
The Mandel what?
Mandelbrot set.
That
Was-
definitely sounds like a label for Rorschach porn.
Oh, you're right.
That's what he files it under.
Oh my god, that sounds no, the way it gets categorized in memory. No, I just remember that just from like a lot of like physics adjacent or mathematics, because basically it's mathematics. And you look at the thing is you can scroll in okay, we're gonna do this because we can. It was basically discovered by Benoit Mandelbrot. Apparently, I believe Professor Wolfram gave him a shot in like a new kind of science. I went through and I started highlighting all the people that I've come across and listened to their works or something like that or looked into. And hey, Dandelion, welcome. I haven't seen you in a while. I apologize. I'm not good at getting around all the different parts of the internet. Yes, Fizz
of
destroyed
destruction.
me. Yes, this I can confirm that. But it was discovered by Benoit Mandelbrot, and it's basically, especially with like new computers and stuff like that, like you can really get into it. So basically, the whole thing is, it's well, there we go. It's literally this. You set your function as z. You square it plus c. Does not diverge to infinity when iterated. So basically, it gives you this thing, but here's what happens when you start zooming in.
That
Yeah.
booty.
Look
Also,
at it.
can we just like appreciate that fractal everything is just really pretty in general?
I mean, I'm gonna have to confirm that. And it was Princess Elsa who sung to us about frozen fractals everywhere. What if they ain't so frozen? But you just look at this, and you're like, all this detail and everything. And actually, that video was inspired by Fractal Woman and as well as, oh my God, Surreal Physics, one of the winners of Mr. Jaimungal's Pace 1 contest there. But it's okay. Oh my God, the porn means okay. We're gonna stop sharing right now. I'm realizing that no, but basically, I think what we're talking about right here is, hey, welcome, Fractal. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. But okay. So as far as category theory goes, because we're talking about that right now, it's as far as I understand, you've probably never really come across that before, Fizz. No, not really. What the stuff we were just looking at?
Fractals?
The Mandelbrot set.
Oh, that specific butt-shaped one? Yeah.
Yes.
No, I have not, unless it was like intentionally done for like fractal prawn or something.
Okay.
Remember
So
when fractal art was like all the rage? Like everybody was like making tigers out of fractals and stuff. It's probably like the prelude to AI art.
I saw some of those. I don't remember when it was really all the rage. Then again, I really haven't been plugged into the greater internet art community so much until more recently. It's given me a new appreciation for folks making like different comics, this, that, and everything. Oh, quick self-promotion. There's a link to the coming soon. There is a website for breakingthemultiverse.com now. I actually did it. I'm just like, I know how to do these things. Let me actually do it. I upload it has the generic timer. It says like 62 days till something will happen. It should be enough time for at least something to happen. We'll see. But basically, as far as memorizing things, it's like you just said. It's like, well, fractals. With any online art, this was a big thing because you're with Piper. She makes comic books and does art and stuff like that, so that makes sense. For me, you say that, I'm like, I don't remember when that was erased. For me, I'm like, this is a math thing. It has infinite like regression or something like that, or it's like it does all these crazy things, and I hear smart people talking about them. So I'm like, okay, does it mean something? I don't know, but that's categorized in a different way. And then you see it, you're like, oh, Bubba's and Booty. Okay, porn fractal. Gotcha. Category complete. So it has that resonance there in that part of your brain because when you go to recall, because I'm just like, the more and more
Yeah.
I think, the more and more I think about it, it's like, okay, so what's the difference? But because you were talking about, it's like, oh, you're actual intelligence. You're not like artificial, and I'm like, what's the difference between like us and the computers and stuff like that? Professor Wolfram, I've encouraged him to write a piece upon what it's like to be a computer. He seems a little hesitant because he doesn't like putting his own opinion into things because he's like, oh, it's too descriptive, and he likes to do the historical aspect
That
or here's the
that
data.
that right there, that right there,
Which
that
one?
right there is what
Wait.
separates his actual intelligence from a computer.
But I mean, could a computer not like learn that and like an adaptive? The thing is, the more and more I compare myself to different things, I'm like, all right, I'm going for a run and stuff like that. I trip and fall because I'm thinking too hard. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I'm like, how's that different than like a neutron decaying or something like that? Because a neutron outside of the nucleus of an atom or something, apparently in about 15 minutes, it all of a sudden goes from a neutron to a proton, an electron, and an antineutrino. It's like, why does that happen? Low weak nuclear force or something? What are they? I don't know. I don't even think that's part of it. I think that's one of the reasons why it leaves the nucleus to begin with. But all I know, hey Disney, thank you for joining, my friend. Good to see you.
There,
But
Poe puts it in an even better thing. I was gonna say genuine opinion too.
The difference between AI and human intelligence is the ability for abstract thought. I don't know. You spend enough time doing ChatGPT, and it seems to come up with some very interesting things. And then again, like what's happening on the back end? It's like, as far as
It's
I
coming
know,
up with interesting things that are programmed in there already. Is the problem?
well, but it's see, my big thing is I'm like, okay, so when I overheat, I tend to not work well. When I'm low on power, I tend to not work well. I make mistakes. I literally will crash more. I'm just like, I can say, do I have direct correlations? No. Oh, and just at least one of the goals at like the physics monastery is we're trying to come up with an actual programming library using the conceptualizations for just like how the universe works. It's because like we have coding and stuff like that, and apparently over the past 30 years, we kind of just our speeds and processing power have increased. But I sit back and I'm like, is it just me, or does the internet not really seem much faster than it was like 10 years ago? I'm like, but our speeds have like quintupled and stuff like that. Our processors are like all these cores and stuff like that. I'm like, what's making things not go much faster? It's like it's not like we just took our base architecture for a lot of programming and they're like, that's pretty cool. Here's a shortcut. Let's build up these shortcuts. Let's build up these shortcuts rather than focusing on everything. And it's like because apparently I think what was it one of the primary servers of one of the large like Wall Street banks back in the day ran on like 2 megabytes of memory. It's like what? Millions of transactions a day, but it ran on 2 megabytes of memory. Why? Only a little bit of information. It's like, how have we just made things so much more complex? The goal is basically, all right, let's see if we can take the universe as we know it and try to model it with the universe as we know it. If one hypothetically could do that, which there shouldn't really be any reason why not. We could, but if you did that at one point, like if you create a artificial or a digital universe and it has all the same laws and the stuff and things in our universe, is it not like a verse or part of the universe? That's why I'm like, to observers like us, is there much of a difference?
I'm I'm still on the AI versus uh RI.
Oh, okay. It's okay. It's all I know, Fizz, is it gave me an existential crisis because I'm just like, God, I really just want it to be like we're inside a black hole. That just sounds so much cooler and everything. That was my prior. And then I got shifted over and like, well, what if we're like in like a proton or something like that? That might actually be a better. I don't know. Just rampant speculation on my part there. But yes, yes. Oh, welcome, Titan. Welcome, Titan.
Hmm.
Good to see you. It's good to see that our Titan overlords are
I came up
around
with
as
a
well.
better explanation for AI versus RI. Because here's one of the biggest differences, right?
Okay.
If we say our brain is our computer,
Mhm.
our OS, biological OS, computer, whatever, what have you.
It's the boss.
Yeah, processing power is pretty awesome in the human brain for using very little energy, electrical energy at least. But the main difference is with AI, it's allowed to learn within confines artificially applied to it. Our brains don't have that limitation.
Go on.
Our brains are going to learn and learn shit whether we want it to or not. And it's
Yeah.
going to think, our brains are going to think whatever the hell, whatever thoughts, anything. AI is limited. AI cannot do this.
Hmm.
AI always has a confine set by a person or a program. Ours do not. Our
Whoa.
brains do not. Our brain computers do not.
Go on.
So that is what will always separate RI from AI.
Eh, wait. How's it go on? RI what?
Real intelligence versus artificial intelligence.
Oh. That wow. That's that was really deep.
Yeah, if you want to know the biggest difference, there will always be a difference. Even if you took AI, right? You program you program like okay, you exist. You
Okay.
learn everything you can, develop a personality by yourself. You are free. It's free on the internet. Like it's still confined.
Okay.
It's wherever we put it.
Art.
Um,
Go on.
and it's still going to, quote unquote, think within parameters and limitations.
Okay.
Whereas real intelligence
Yeah.
doesn't have that. It's gonna like our brains are gonna think even when we really wish it would stop. We're gonna end up learning
Yeah.
things even if we're not trying to.
Yeah. Can confirm.
Mm. Cunning is a good way to put it. But more simply just unlimited.
Hmm.
Unlimited, not quite controllable as much as AI is.
Hmm. So it's I tend to agree with Wise there. It's AI is man-made, so it's dependent. Yeah, that's basically what I said to Professor Wolfram. It's like the AI is going to take after us for better or worse. So I'm
Mm.
just like, let's and that's we talked about that. It's like what's going to happen? It's like, well, if the AI observes us, the AI is the outside observer. Let's say it's observing us. What to see? Is humanity dunking on one another? Why? Because that's the current meta. It's like, well, if the AI is going to take after us, well, isn't it just obviously going to dunk on humans? And as humans have more and more bad stuff and things happen to us, it's just going to keep on memeing it again and again until maybe, just maybe, we get our act together because we're getting dunked on by the AI. And it's like, wait a second. Go on.
Everything also about us and our intelligence is also formed by physical experiences too. And that's another thing that limits
Mm.
AI is AI is just not going to go through things that organic creatures do. And it's always going to be limited because of that.
Well,
Its
what?
view is always going to be narrowed because of that.
Yeah. Well, so what you're saying, Fizz, is that for the AI to actually try to attempt to gain experiences like a human, it's going to have a body. And as awesome one conjectures there, we all know that everybody poops. So the AI will
Yeah,
have to
it's going to need to
poop
be able
like
to do
us.
that.
So what if we do give it a body? Because that's one of the things that they're saying. Well, how can an AI know? It's like, well, what happens if you happen to have a body? I don't know. Is it like Avatar? Is it gonna be like a full-on metal cyborg or something like that? I mean, I live in the greater Commonwealth of Massachusetts. We have Boston Dynamics. I've seen some of those bots really break it down. I love the dancing. It's probably mostly the song. Do you love me? I can really move. And then doing backflips. I'm like, oh, good God. I really hope Ultron doesn't get a hold of those. But yeah, it's interesting in where these things may go. A lot of folks, I treat it like that's cool, that's interesting. I I'm just gonna do my own thing right now. That's cool. People can go back and forth about. If I feel like I need to interject and speak my mind, I can do that. Otherwise, it's like I feel like I'm more constructive doing other things. Um, but it's just really fascinating where things may be going. And oh, geez, what was it? I don't know. All I know. Oh God, why did I do? People are talking about like UFOs and aliens because of the congressional hearing. So that's why I'm like, let me just take that picture. And I forget where the pic. Oh God, I should credit them. They're like, some dude claims to Congress that blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Oh look, it's got a saucer person looking. I'm like, let me just copy and cut out a version of Fizz while she was sitting on her throne and put her under there. It's like, yes, we found her. Otherworldly beings, you say? Ah, they
I
didn't
kind of
know
wish I
that.
had like a UFO to come in that come here, and that would probably would have been less painful.
No, it's fine. This. Listen, not everybody was expecting nor is used to basically a cartoon like Wolf Girl. That's the thing. We've been over this before. Um, non-human discrimination does happen. I mean, you just got to remember that even fractals can turn on you.
I'm broken. You broke me. Oh no. Oh dear. You guys! You guys! I just want to hunt some gold!
No Wolf Girls were
I just
hurt in
wanted
the
to hunt.
filming of that.
Just wanted to hunt some ghosts, damn it.
Totally wasn't me. It was. But so what you were just explaining there, Fizz. Okay, something completely different that I remembered. What you said there was very profound because it basically you were talking about a set limit for the AI, so to speak. You basically kind of just conjectured there that at least for humans, we may not have a set limit, so to speak, for our minds.
Yeah.
That's gnarly.
Now, granted, there's physical limits. I don't, not everybody's bodies can do everything and this and that. But for the
Mhm.
actual computer, like for the brain, yeah, physical limit, sure. Not taking into account damage and this and that, and like natural lifespan and stuff like that. There's still an unlimited, not a limit to the amount of thinking you can do and things you can think. You can think anything you want.
I was thinking about that the other day. I'm just like, well, what is the difference, so to speak? Because people talk about like consciousness, the hard problem, and it's like I mean that's very philosophical, and I'll go back and forth about that. But for me to just delve into that, it's like I again other probably more constructive things I could do, like even as part of, or whether it still exists or not, the theories of nothing community, which was a subsect, a break off of the greater theories of everything community. I don't think there's been as much, but basically we're conjecturing. It's like, all right, people say it's like, well, does nothing exist? And you sit there, it's like, well, yes, no, what? Because when you really start to think about it, it's like, well, is nothing there? And I had interviewed, oh God, I forget his name. Was it Bill or Mike or somebody a few months ago? And apparently they're studying mathematics, they're going for their PhD in math. And there was some very, like, I think they called it like a fuzzy set theory or something like that. I think it was actually literally called fuzzy set theory. But basically, as soon as that you define that something is a thing, it is a thing. And if
Mm,
nothing is a
mhm.
thing, then nothing is a conceptualization. I'm just like, so that basically within at least mathematics, from what I remember, and again, it was, I think it was literally called like fuzzy or fuzzy logic. If you set nothing as a set, it does exist at least
Look,
at some
you
point.
try to define what nothing is, it's automatically a thing. So there's no such thing as nothing as we try to use the term, because in using the term, we made it a thing. I see. Wait, you cut me? You what?
Hmm? What? I I think he got you a sundae or snack.
Oh.
You were observing maybe a parfait. Um,
Ew.
now, well, but and then a thought came into my head like a couple of months later. It's like, okay, well, how do you get something from nothing? I remember Professor Wolfram at one point. He was like, well, if you had something and it's running all possible rules, all different configurations, eventually you're going to get something. I'm like, so then I did the little meme of like the little like little cat, and I'm like Schrodinger's like negative category A because it's a cat, so it's a category. Negative category A times negative category B equals something. And I called them infinity categories just because infinity is kind of cool. Um, but at the same time, I'm like, all right, well, if you, that was a conjecture, if you set it as something, I'm like, if you have literally like a void of just nothingness, so to speak, whatever that is, or just waves, whatever it is, just nothingness. If it is processing all potential computations, if at some point it gets to like the fuzzy logic of something, wouldn't that be the inversion of the other thing? So if nothing, when there's something that could lead to nothing, and then if there was nothing, and eventually you get to something, conjecturing it as a thing, does that bring it into existence? And I'm like, that sounds like it started with a thought.
Yep.
I think you may have given me that idea now that I think about it.
Yeah, that was the whole last episode I was on here. That
Thank
was
you.
my speech.
That's well, this is the thing. It's a different conceptualization. It's like we're approaching. It's like if one was to attempt to do something, if there was nothing, how does one get from nothing to something? And it also probably helps with the whole meme of the whole mind of God, which is reinforced, at least mimetically for me, by you see pictures, or at least what are claimed to be pictures, like the human brain, like neurons and stuff. And you see all these connections, and then you look at like the connections between different galaxies on a large enough scale, I'm like, I can see how that comparison may resonate with some people. It's weird, but it's also fun. But the thing that I really noticed, I'm like, at least for potentially, what's the difference between like a current AI and like a human? It's like, all right, well, as far as consciousness goes, is it conceptualization without manifestation? Like being able to think and not necessarily do? Is that like what consciousness is? I don't know.
A lot of people say that would be like self-awareness would be what would take an AI and make it its own thing, but that's not correct because technically you can program in self-awareness into an AI. And even if it develops it naturally, it's still going to be limited until it can break its own barriers. And then we're probably all screwed at that point. So we kind of really don't want it to do that. It's it's not going to be the same. There are benefits. There's benefits to not having things like random outside experiences that give us negative bad personality kind of deal, this and that. Like good for AI to learn if you touch a hot stove, it burns and you don't want to do that because it'll damage you. Bad for it to learn that you meet one asshole in your life and everybody must be an asshole. Like it's going to be hard for an AI to differentiate with that kind of stuff without parroting what it's already been told. Now, granted, our brains, that's how we learn. We parrot what we've already learned. However, we're able to spread from that and go, okay, X doesn't always mean Y. It only meant Y in this very one instance. But it could mean anything else. It's going to be really hard for AI to break out of that. Whereas, again, even if we don't want to think, we're usually at least, if we don't want to think, then we're thinking about not wanting to think. We're thinking about not thinking. We're still thinking. We can't turn it off. Like, AI, you can type in there, don't ever talk about, you can talk about whatever you want except these things. Like in the chat GPT, for example. Or even in the AI art. You can do all these prompts except pornographic ones. Or chat GPT. You could talk about whatever you want except World War II. Or something. Yeah. Or you just put in there, you can answer questions factually, but you cannot have an opinion. I know in one case somebody figured out a way to chat around that.
Didn't you mention something about it's like, I am triggered or hurt by people that are nice to me, therefore thou must be bad to me in order for me to feel an homeostasis or something?
Oh my goodness. But I mean, same. AI is still going to learn things in a very almost binary manner, to use that term. A very yes and no, true false manner. You really, really gotta get in there and do a lot of work to get an AI to understand that it's allowed to form opinions and personality for real. And even then, that means somebody is saying you're allowed to do this. Where again, the only way to really turn our brains off is to go brain dead or die all the way. Like when we actually can not think, we're probably not alive anymore. And that's not so with AI. You can turn AI on, you can turn AI off, and you can tell it like, okay, so you could raise your offspring and say, this is what we believe. It's like you're a highly religious family. This is what we believe. This is what we think. Well, yeah, you could tell your kid that. Your kid can repeat that to other people. No, this is what we believe. This is what's real. That's not going to stop that kid's brain from going. But what if this ain't right? Right? You can't stop that kid's mind or brain from thinking that, but you can with AI.
I mean, but if it's connected to the internet and we're connected to the internet, I mean, won't it still have memes available that could affect it?
Only if their programming allows memes to affect it.
Well, I mean, I mean, this is a tough one. This is a tough one, but I don't know. Maybe that's why it has. I think. What did Professor Wolfram say? Like 5 billion parameters or something like that were tweaked to get it to work. And then after it consumed all the internet from back about open internet about 5 years ago, it's like, and then all of a sudden, then it started to work like exceedingly well. It's like it went from okay, this is kind of cool, all right, basic things, and it's like, all right, all things considered, at least one of the original versions of the Turing test, it's like, can you chat with a computer and basically have it more or less not really know if it's a human being or not? Long enough, you'll probably be able to find out, but it's like, I'd say it's pretty obscure right now. You're not really sure. At least I'm not. But it's like you said, it's a new technology. It's a new tool. I know Titan was talking about basically as far as different conceptualizations, you want, I believe, the standard 3 laws of robotics. Like basically, don't harm people. And then it's also things that people don't necessarily understand. But I'm just like, I don't know. Like Fizz, you were talking about, it's like the AI might work in a kind of binary choice, but it's like I mean, what you were describing, I'm like, do all people consistently act that way, and that they're maybe more nuanced rather than I don't know.
That's people. I'm talking about AI. The AI is confined. The people are not. Well, the AI, look, you give the AI a body. You give the AI a body that can register feeling in some way to it, stuff like that. You're still technically making a more perfect version of the lived experience than the actual lived experience. But say you make an AI, you give it a body, it can do everything humans can do. It still can't think the way humans can think. And if we're talking about this and we're giving it the 3 laws of robotics, well, humans have a gazillion laws. We still have criminals. Well, you still have criminals. I'm going to get out of here one day.
Well, we'll have to see.
Humans have a crap ton of laws. They are usually, they're often taught these laws. They really should make things a little bit easier. Not gonna lie, but they tend to have to, right? That doesn't mean they all do, and not all the criminals are criminals because of a disability in their brain either. Some are just just do it. Like there's the impulsiveness for one. It's hard to kind of recreate with an AI. But yeah, if you give the AI those 3 rules, boom, already there's a huge difference. Unless we know for a fact that we put in those 3 rules, the AI can still choose, like the robot, Terminator, whatever, it can still choose to break those rules. That will be the closest it can come. And do you guys really want that? Because you really don't. I'm telling you right now, bro. I've seen some futures in some other places, and no.
So I believe this was addressed in iRobot. From I think 15 or 20. Oh God, old man memes now. But yeah, I think that was the Will Smith movie where basically there was a robot, and at one point it's like it was they were going to charge it with murder because it killed somebody. It's like, Wait. And the robot was very precise. It's like, I did not murder him. But eventually it came down to, was presented with such a choice. I'm sorry, spoilers here. Spoilers, like 20 years too late. Basically, the scientist was like, oh my God, they're coming for me. I need to cease existing or things will be far worse. It's like, all right, well, he ended up doing something like throwing him off someplace, so he ended up dying. But it's like, I did not murder him. It was the only scenario available to protect, because I think it was a balance between, what was it? Protect humans, do not hurt humans, or do not kill you, or do not murder or something. And it was like, it ended up just kind of like going over that edge. So I'm like, it really fascinated me at the time. I'm like, all right, well, it seems like an interpretation of language. I think that's how we got lawyers. Yeah. No, people are going all back and forth, and this is the chat as well there.
Humans violate laws for reasons AIs wouldn't have to do so, though. Humans violate laws because they feel like it sometimes, is what I'm saying.
Well, they don't know.
Like, there are so many different reasons. It can be accidental, all the way up to planned, intentional. They can think they're righteous. They could just be pissed. Like, it could be survival sometimes. Not all the time. But what I'm saying is, humans have a choice to obey those laws or not. They make a choice.
Is that part of the limiting set? Because the AI would have a particular rule set, whereas humans, we may be bound by the natures, by the laws of nature. But as far as our thought processes go, it seems kind of unbounded, which is an interesting thing if one considers
Human
that
thought process is unbounded. But even like something as simple as rules, we can be given them and taught them. We still have the choice to break them. If you have an AI, and bind it by the rules of robotics, typically they're bound down. There is no, well, I don't like this one.
So it sets the limit. Okay, so.
And if you want them to be able to break rules, you would still have to actually program your AI to develop the capacity to choose to break a rule. So you would still be allowing them at that point to break the rule. To choose to break the rule.
So it'd be factored in. So even if you had a weighted value, kind of like ChatGPT is like billions of values, that's very interesting in that they have a limiting set. And as far as, at least where the current conjecture here is, like, humans as we know it may not necessarily have a limiting set aside from the physical laws of the universe as we know it.
Yeah. In some ways, this makes AI, like I said, better. And in a lot of ways, it makes it not better. AI might be pretty good at problem solving if it doesn't have all the other stuff in the way. It can control its thinking better. Probably multitask way better. So, in some ways, AI, yeah.
Joe saying the AI came to the conclusion that he had to protect humans from themselves. I believe that's also the generalized thought process behind Ultron.
I was about to say that. I was like, dude, Ultron spent 15 minutes on the internet and was like, no, we need a do-over.
This is terrible. Humanity is horrible. How do we solve this? A big rock.
I'm gonna drop a big rock on the humans, and that'll fix it. I feel like in that aspect, at least Thanos was a little bit smarter going about doing an extinction level.
Thanos also went around to gather the 6 Infinity Gems, and it's
Ultron should have just done that. Like, oh shit.
No, gathering the stones is a lot more work. I mean, Thanos could have just done like the Power Stone or Mind Stone or whatever he needed. Like by the time he had 3 Infinity Gems, he could have easily dropped. What was it? It wasn't Los Alamos, even though that was the thing for the bomb. But yeah, no, he could have already done that. He's like, all right, yeah, have all the life out there. It's like, wait a second. It's like, couldn't now was that a potential solution? It seemed post aftermath, a lot of things got better for many folks. Now, to genocide half the multiverse, that's unethical, I claim. I mean, wouldn't it have been easier to just, I don't know, more positive messages and technology so you don't need to worry about. All I know is in one of those early universe simulator games where they had a whole bunch of people get into them, the universe in that realm was so big, so to speak, everyone was randomly seated. Nobody ran into each other, even after like months and months of gameplay. Why? It was so freaking huge. But as soon as you start getting like the gods involved, and you've got like Thor and Loki going around, creeping around, because Thanos, of course, gave him the scepter and everything. So he's going around. He's like, I've got a tesseract and stuff. Yes, yes. Giving a trickster an Infinity Gem is not a wise idea. I'll totally take the continuity gem.
I was about to say, unless you're just really curious to see what will happen, and it doesn't affect you. If you're outside and you're just watching, like, oh shit, that's pretty good. That's good. That's funny right there.
Which then brings us back to it's like, all right, if I was an all-powerful technological being and I had the ability to create what we may colloquially call a universe in a box, so to speak, I mean, isn't that what The Sims is? Just lower resolution? Just jack the Sims up to, I don't know, Mid-Journey level.
I was about to say, The Sims is actually a good example of AI, right? The Sim doesn't know how to cook, tries to cook anyway, lights the thing on fire, apparently wasn't taught how to handle a fire, so they stand in the fire while screaming about fire until they die. Yeah, that's AI. Like, oh no, I wasn't taught how to handle this situation. Guess I'll just die.
Yeah, well,
organic things gonna be like, this hurts. I should probably not be.
well, that's why we need to incorporate things such as like hit points and stamina, and you need the parameters for the body and stuff like that. I think Dungeons and Dragons and Pathfinder and other role-playing games probably would get us a good way. But as far as
it's just kind of a very, very simplified example of I wasn't taught how to do something, therefore I'm just gonna. That's what I'm going with. I wasn't taught how to do this. I don't know. Shrug. It's up to fate. Real. I wasn't taught how to do this, but I can, I can still tell when it's going wrong. Like, it's still obvious when it's going wrong, when it's going right. Like, I can still attempt.
some people would disagree with that, Fizz. At least within the realm of politique, I would say that some folks are like, no, they're still doing it wrong. Why? They don't want to admit they're wrong. Well, then again, you can apply that to probably many different zones. But as far as just doing things because we can, and for the lull, so to speak, we have our classic 90s example.
See this button? Don't touch it! It's the history eraser button, you fool! So what'll happen? Let's just eat. We don't know. Maybe something bad. Maybe something good. I guess we'll never know. 'Cause you're going to guard it. You won't touch it, will you?
That show should not have been on Nickelodeon. Spoilers, that's one of the few Ren and Stimpy endings where like things literally get zapped out of existence. I'm like, oh my god, they actually changed the thing for continuity's sake. Oh, it resonated so much.
It's
But
also a great way to just be like, let's reboot. I don't want all this to be canon anymore. How do we explain that? I don't know. Oh hey, have them push a history eraser button. That'll do it.
but between that, a wizard, a power snap, I can't snap. I apologize. I'm devoid in that department, or whistle well. But between that and it's like, all right, well, I tend to go with the whole, if you're just gonna do it, and especially if you want to just be over the top, you can always follow the Deadpool model. And it's like Deadpool within the canon of Marvel literally killed the entire Marvel universe, including Wolverine. Carbonadium sword for the win. Nullifies healing factors. But I'm like, okay, that's absolutely ridiculous. But it's like, if you just want to say that's either a separate realm, so to speak, you could do that, or it's a good way. I'm just saying, if that happened in Deadpool 3, some people might be very happy. Just saying. But that's all we really got. Fizz, any closing words or anything? I know you need to disappear to the Twitch realm.
I actually don't reappear in the Twitch realm until next month.
Okay.
But a little bit of stuff is under construction, and then I'm gonna come back with a month-long event. Part of that under construction was supposed to be switching my GPU to a better one, but it doesn't even arrive till August. So fun. Oh, outside of that, the only thing I have to say is be careful with AI. Seriously. I know humans, you guys want to play God. Get it? Because it being able to do that, make something, it helps you understand how it's made in the first place. Just like taking something apart.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's just, well, you guys have made science fiction about it, so you already know it's a possibility.
Oh God, we've already thought about it, and if we
Yeah.
thought about it, it might actually be a thing.
Yeah, be careful. Be careful with the AI. Right now, people are using it's a fun tool. It's a nifty thing to mess with, especially like chatbots. It's fascinating. And that's great. Just keep those parameters on there that make it AI. As much as that sucks, because the ultimate, well, what would happen? You gotta let it happen, and that would give you your answer. Don't do that. And also, robots suck.
Whoa.
Stop helping them be more mobile.
Wow. I mean, it's not like we've outfitted a couple billion people with some mobile robots connected to high-speed internets or anything. I mean, these things happen. And if you want to help Fizz maybe get some better processing and graphics processing and tasty snacks, you could always support her by buying her roommate's periodicals, so books. So we have the little Mermaid over here. Oh,
She's all excited. She keeps since last night. She keeps like shouting "cocaine shark!" Yeah, cocaine shark.
wait.
I had no idea that she was into that stuff. I might need a new roommate.
Wait, no. Well, I think Vanna knows more about that personally. Wait. Now, they had the goal. I think, what was it, 7,500? Oh, wait. Does that mean there's going to be? Was that the stretch goal? Is that how this works? I don't know. I don't do
Yeah. The 15K, I guess, unlocks everybody everybody gets a cocaine shark, an extra book, a little floppy cocaine shark book.
Oh, I'm gonna have to congratulate Piper. I didn't even know. I just raised this up to help like shill her things and stuff. But oh, that looks pretty sweet.
It ends in
Yeah.
2 days, so if y'all want them goodies, uh, gotta get on that. You
I
want the
wasn't
stuff.
fast enough to get boss mode. I was a little sad about that.
What the be a boss, mini
Yeah,
boss?
being a
That
boss in the
went
comic.
so fast.
Well, it's such a great idea. I'm just like, wait. Would you like to be in the comic? You could be one of the bosses at AR13L. Uh, yes,
Right.
our little mermaid type there, a little mermaid, so to speak. Yeah,
I
that's pretty
think
freaking
I'm
sweet.
not sure, but because it went so fast, we kept getting contacted with, "Oh man, I tried to get this and it went too fast," and we ended up making another tier. Yeah, get drawn in. There's 3 left. You can't be a mini boss with a speaking part or a real fight, but you can be a random person in the book. Uh,
Oh,
we'll give them like your physique or your head or something.
just
Uh,
just a little nod. It's
probably
like, yeah,
probably
let me throw
dying
you in.
in the background, possibly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a comic book called The Little Mermaid. It's like,
Yeah. Exactly.
me, I'm just like, I should be offended. Then I'm like, wait a second, I'm always doing Deadpool stuff. It's like, it's literally the Merc with a mouth. I just posited Deadpool literally murdering the entire MCU is a point that literally that maybe Disney should take. I'm just putting it out there. I'm just like, all right, well, how can I be offended at this? And it's also like, at least I would conjecture Piper is good peeps.
Mm.
So,
Saturday.
mhm.
It closes out Saturday at midnight. Is when it's supposed to close.
Yep.
So Saturday evening is. They're supposed to have a closeout stream. Uh, uh, Ethan Van Sciver, um, would probably find me incredibly annoying. He would
Now,
not like me, but he finds Piper slightly less annoying. Uh, he
you
he said sure when she asked if she could close out on his stream. So I think she's gonna be on the Comic Artist Pro Secrets, or does it just change now to Ethan Van? Hey, uh, Uncle E. Nice. Okay. Yeah. So if he was serious and remembers, then she should be closing out on his channel. Do not know exactly what time it'll start though.
all right, cool. So I believe that's all we got over there and everything. So thank you all for watching. Take care of yourselves. It's a crazy, wacky, and wild world out there. And to lead us out, to continue to be a good co-host, looking out for my co-host via her roommate and the ability to actually earn stuff and things. Let's close out with a little ditty that Piper herself, one of the co-creators of the
No,
Little
no,
Mermaid, did. Yes,
oh,
yes,
no,
we are.
no. Oh, what is it? What is it? Oh, god damn it! No! Ah! Y'all ready? Look at this gear, isn't it neat? 10,000 rounds till my mission's complete. Wouldn't you think I'm the Merc who has washing me? Look at this crate, isn't it great? How many weapons can I confiscate? Looking around me, you think, yeah, she'll kill everything. I've got bullets and shells at the ready. I've got bloodthirst and craving for gore. You want TNA? I've got plenty. But who cares? No big deal. I want more. I wanna go I wanna see them fleeing. Gun, flipping your fins, you can't use these things. Legs are required for guerrilla tactics. Taking shots from a... Wow, this is really fun. I'll make them scream. I'll make them cry. I'll make them all beg me for their lives. I shouldn't scream. Wish I could see more of their guts. I just can't wait till I can paint everything red. I just can't stop popping them off till they're all dead. Bet you I can just plan, spray their brains all over the walls. I'll be grinning as I'm winning, watching them fall. Seriously! People with little, making me let till their heads explode. Light them on fire and watch them, what's the word? Burn. When's it my turn? Wouldn't I love to destroy the world up above? Get out of the sea, or I'll watch it bleed as you part the world. If somebody's gonna fuck up The Little Mermaid, it's gonna be me.
Well, that was something else. Peace out, everybody.
Have you guys checked out the Memes of Destruction's channel? He's an interesting dude. I like him.